Hi guys, so I will tell you how I can spot a narcissist. All of us can be self-centered at times. All of us can have narcissistic traits, but it will depend on how much. Like, it's a spectrum, so it's like having an Asperger's syndrome, or even having some psychopathic traits. It's not the diagnosis. Being a narcissist ultimately means you're more in your head, you're more self-centered, you're more, and it will depend on which country you live in, but usually there are more narcissists in rich countries, Western countries. I don't mean that poor countries or third world countries doesn't have narcissistic people. I don't mean that, but narcissism is encouraged in rich countries because when you're a narcissist, you put yourself first. But in a way, it will help your community because you have to be like, you're usually ambitious if you're a narcissist. And we have to differentiate a narcissist from someone who has a narcissistic personality disorder that's like an extreme narcissist. So, guys, look, I have a bachelor in social work, so that's why I'm very interested in this. But I'm not a psychiatrist, a psychologist. If you are in a narcissistic relationship, do go to a counselor and get some help. So I'm just sharing my experience. So I won't tell you who or narcissists around me. I won't tell you, but let's just say I have a lot of experience, like many years of experience. So I would say loved ones, family members. So, but I won't tell you exactly who. So that's why I'm making this video. I have lots of experience. I also have read books about it when I was in the university, but also after that. Even now, I've read about there's this Christian book, how to go away, or how to something. I will write it. And then also by someone who's an empath and dealt with a narcissist. So okay, so let me start. I have a list here in my phone, so we'll look at it, or how I spot it is because I've dealt with them or dealing with them, and that's why I know. Please, if you have encountered them, please leave a comment down below and share us your experiences. So so far I've listed 18 signs of narcissism that you're dealing with a narcissist. And these are my 18 signs, or how I spot them. So narcissists have very low self-esteem. They're extremely sensitive to criticisms, but they're experts on criticizing others. So you would think that they don't have a low self-esteem because they think highly of themselves. But deep inside, the reason why they can take criticisms is that they have a very low self-esteem, and their defense mechanism is to be proud of themselves. I mean, many narcissists are talented, ambitious, like I said, and in that way gain fame and money. And they need to do this so that people would flock to them, because on their own they are empty and shallow and superficial. So if you happen to criticize them, they will attack you like a cobra, and you wouldn't know what hit you. So if you know you are with a narcissist and you don't want a third world war, try not to criticize them. Try not to call them out. Now, if you are going to do it in a diplomatic way. Do it in a diplomatic way, and when they are in a good mood. But try to avoid that. So, now my second is, okay, my number 2 sign, or how I spot a narcissist, is that they are very high maintenance. And what do I mean by that? They are hard to please, but they seldom sacrifice for others. They need constant praise and assistance and support, and they can be very needy. So if you are a person who easily gets burned out, or you are an empath, you are a highly sensitive person, I wouldn't recommend you to be with a narcissist. It is difficult though if it's your family, if it's your very, very close friend, especially if it's your spouse, your parent, very close relatives. So if you are with them, then try to get plenty of alone time, because they're not easy to deal with. You have to constantly help them in almost everything. Like, what I would say is that narcissists are very immature, even when they're older. So if you're not that person who wants to help people, then you would get easily tired with them. If it's like a new acquaintance, you might not even know why you don't want to be with that person, but it's just they need too much help in everything. It can be physical help, like, for example, they don't like doing household chores. If they're your mom, they will constantly tell you to do this and that, or your dad. Very highly maintenance. They need constant help, putting on their bra, putting on everything that to you, like, if you're a child, you would think, oh, pity my mom, I pity my dad, oh, they need me. So when you're growing up, it's hard to see that, because people like to be needed. People like to be wanted. But yeah, that's one sign. My number 3, they're easily offended or hurt. Like, anything could hurt them. Like, especially among people they don't know, and you would just be surprised that they're suddenly sad, angry, or depressed because of what a stranger said on the streets or in a store, and you're like, what? Why? So it's quite hard bringing them to new places where they, so because they would easily get hurt by other people. And it can be quite embarrassing. Like, for example, there's a rule in that store, oh, you can't do this, or you can't eat in the store, and they just eat. And then they eat, these narcissists, and then the people working there would say, oh, ma'am, sir, you can't do that. That would just make them angry. They might not react on a person, but as soon as you go out the store or, you know, outside that, then they would say, oh, how can they do this? How can they hurt me like this? I only ate, I was so hungry, or, you know. So easily offended or hurt, especially by strangers, but also by you, by people they know. But they don't lash at you if there are other people. Usually they do this when you're alone, so no witnesses, almost like a psychopath. And number 4, they are very, very, extremely proud people, and they won't even admit it. Like, if someone calls them out, or tell them that they lied, they would never admit it. Never. Like, they're too proud. Even if you tell them what they did, or do you have a proof, they would never admit, especially in that heat moment. Maybe later, after the drama, and he or she is in a good mood, they might admit it. But usually those people who do, those narcissists who do, there's hope for them because they're able to analyze it. Usually many narcissistic people are not emotional, but they can be moody, you know. So if you catch them in a good mood, then there's hope for you. Okay, so number 5, they're very self-centered. So they're in their head, they're in their world, and like they try to control things according to themselves. They are the center of the earth, the center of the universe. So, I mean, if they're hungry, then everyone must be hungry. If they're cold, then everyone must be cold. You know, if they're hot, you know. But if you differ opinion with them, then they wouldn't understand because they are in their heads. Now, some of them can be generous, especially to people who like them or who are their persons. You know, you have a person. But they can be very greedy and not generous with others, especially those who don't like them, those who are very different from them. No. And yeah, they're self-centered. And of course, when you're self-centered, you do like people who are more like you or who like you. Yeah, and of course, even as a Christian, that's normal that you would rather be with people who are like you. But yeah, if you are a Christian, you're supposed to reach out to people who are not like you, even if you don't like them or love them. So it is a challenge for a narcissist to like just normal people, you know. Because they're in their heads too much. I mean, all of us can be self-centered, and it can be healthy to be self-centered at times, especially in dangerous times. You have to put yourself first. But narcissists constantly are in their heads too much. Like they take themselves too seriously. So number 6. I think I mentioned this already before, but they can be clingy, want attention. Like, it will depend on how narcissistic they are, but everything they do, they want attention. Now, this will depend if the narcissist is a man or a woman, but you will notice they love attention now. Like most celebrities are, of course, have a high degree of narcissism in them. Not all, I'm not saying all, but many of them. So yeah, if you're a narcissist, better go and be a celebrity. Lots of YouTubers, you know, those who are now being cancelled are narcissists, you know. Face wants attention, wants support and everything. So shallow, number 7. Many of them are shallow, like what they think about, what they do, or about getting more fame, more money, lots and lots of money. That's what they think about almost the whole day. They're very OCD about it, very like even if they're Christians, like they would not spend so much time reading the Bible or going to church, or like they say they believe in God, but the amount of time they think about God and about helping people, because if you love God, you have to help people. You might not like or love everyone, but you are supposed to be Christ-like. And these people who are narcissists and claim to be Christians don't really spend that much time thinking about God, or they might say they do, but their actions don't show that. Like, I'm not saying, oh, if you're not the narcissist and you're Christian, you're always out in the community helping, you know, like a saint. I'm not saying that. But for this narcissist who claim to be Christians, you will see a difference in their words and actions. So I say that's shallowness, because, I mean, who doesn't want money, okay? Everyone needs money. It's just the love for money, the love for reaching fame is just too obvious not to see. Well, if they are helping others, like those who love them, that would be good for those people. But that's still money. It comes and goes. It's not deep enough, you know. So that's how we spot them. Now, number 8, I wrote materialistic, can be very ambitious, because they know, that's number 8, they know that if they have fame and or money, then people would flock to them, at least in the beginning. They're materialistic, they cling to things. You would know people who are up in the spectrum of being a narcissist is that they cling to things, they can't let go of things. They can't possibly imagine just going, oh, okay, I'm not, just moving to another country because they have to, because they cling to the things they've collected in their lives. So like, it doesn't mean they're all hoarders, no, but it's like, it's their lives, their things, their houses, their lands, if they're, you know, rich. So just letting go or selling them is impossible. That's no. They invest their emotions in those things, and I think that's sad. Now, I don't mean that, oh, so you're not seen as narcissistic, you have to sell all the things and abandon everything, you know, I don't mean that, but they hoard too much. They hoard, they collect too much. Okay, number 9, they can be a drama queen or kings. As I said before, they would easily get hurt, especially by strangers, and they would have a fit, which is very embarrassing, especially if you're a kid, but even later, like they would just have a fit and say, how dare him say that to me. Like, it has something to do with their ego. It's so fragile that a stranger who don't know them, who they don't know, would like just think they're that special. It's like, what? Get over yourself. Like, you can never please everyone. Like, when you grow up, yes, when you're a child, you can be like hurt, by others because you want people to love you. But that's why I'm saying they are immature. They haven't like matured to the level in thinking that not everyone can like me. I can't like everyone. I can't love everyone. They haven't reached that, and they won't ever do without a godly intervention, I think, or without them really discovering that people are hurt by their traits. So, yeah, they can be a drama queen. They deflect. Number 10. They deflect and projects to others. So, like, for example, you call them out, right? So instead of analyzing that, these people would deflect, would accuse someone else, would blame someone else but them, even if they're guilty. So they would just deflect, deviate, go away. That's what they do because they're too, not ashamed, but too proud to admit they can do something wrong, which is weird. We're flawed. We can't be perfect, and especially not perfect all the time. And then they project, like they would tell you things like, oh, you want to hurt me, you're out to get me, while you're not, you're not doing that, but they are. So they want you to think it's you, but it's really them. So yeah, watch out for that. That's very toxic. Yeah, number 11. No, I don't have 11 fingers. Number 11. They lie, but they think they're blameless. They are very fast at blaming and accusing others, and because they have very low self-esteem, so they lie instead. I think many of them even believe in their lies, even though it's so obvious. Like, you have proof that they lied. You experienced it yourself, you saw it yourself, that what they said and what they did was completely wrong. Like, why am I doing a cross? Completely not true, and yet they lie. And later they would say, oh, it was just a white lie, that's forgiven. Anyways, okay, number 12. I already told you about them being entitled. They act like prince and princesses. When they're small, you must have been with toddlers that are very cute, and they would be like, entitled, like, oh, I have to have this because that's cute. That's cute, unless they have too much of a tantrum, but that's cute. But when you act like that, when you act entitled, when you're an adult, and especially when you're older, oh my god, that's not cute anymore. That's just annoying, especially for others who don't know you. Like, for those who know you, they can think, oh, that's funny. That's cute, but really, no. It's not cute. Number 13. They're empty but good at imitating others, or always saying they experience the same thing as others. So they're empty not because they don't have anything in their heads. As I told you, they're very ambitious, but they're empty because all they think about is themselves. That's why they're empty. If you constantly think of yourselves, like, you know, like those people who are always needing of a selfie, like 24/7, that's empty, I think. I mean, you shouldn't judge yourself, I know, but it is a trait of them. And they can't stand it when other people are getting attention. Like if someone's saying something dramatic, right? And you know, you who's listening is thinking, wow, that's amazing. And they would just say, oh, I experienced something like that. And yeah, it is possible to experience the same things as other people, but you would know you have a narcissistic among you if that person constantly say that, or they would do the opposite. I mean, those who imitate and say that, they are not that obnoxious. While some narcissists would just say, oh, that's nothing, I've done this, you know. So that's, I guess that's obvious too, but it's just more annoying, you know, for narcissists to do that. And you're thinking, oh, like if you're an empath, you're thinking, I wonder if she's like correct. But you know, deep inside, no, because it's like respecting someone who's like sharing something wonderful. You should just listen. But yeah, narcissistic people, or those who have in the high spectrum of narcissism, don't think like that. They can't. Like, it hurts them to not be in the center of attention. So they always need to say, and like, even if you have experienced something similar, I think you should sometimes let go to give the spotlight to someone else. And don't, I mean, why, like, they need to do this over and over. It's like, okay. Number 14. They have a bout of psychopathy, so they use people, like, they use people like stuffed toys to comfort themselves. They use people as trophies, and you know, to feel good about themselves, because they don't. It's really like, I really pity them, but at the same time, no matter what you are, psychopath, narcissistic, or you have, okay, if you have a mental illness, then you have to have medicine and psychiatrist help. But yeah, even if you are that, if you're not, like, usually if you're retired, that you're not having these traits, but because you can still control yourself, because you still need to choose, I think that you should. Because if you know you're like this, you can still avoid hurting people by not saying something, by reducing the time you are with persons who trigger your narcissism, and you know, you out to avoid hurting people. But they can't help themselves. And okay, that's not really an excuse, because they still have a brain, so they could stop themselves. But yeah, they have a bout of psychopathy, and it's up to you. if like how much of that psychopathy you tolerate, you know. Yeah. I am it as a person being with people who have like narcissism. You do feel used. You're like a tool, and it's sad every time. But you need to have your own life, no matter if you're a child of that person, you're a spouse of that person, and you decide not to leave them. You have to help yourself. You have to be with others who will see you as a person. You know, you have to pray to God, give you more strength. You have to have your life too away from those people. Self a limit, set boundaries, or you would get sick. Try to limit the contact, no matter what they are to you. Because yeah, we're free. God wants us to be free. Okay? God wants us to keep ourselves as we are, not to be broken. God wants us to be whole. So try to have alone time. Be with others, help others. It will make you feel better, I think. Okay, number 15. They easily get angry and depressed, almost like bipolar. But they almost never smile, laugh, or are happy unless they're being praised, you know. So yeah, I do feel sorry for them, but you know, no matter how much you help a narcissist to feel happy, no matter how much you do, like if you're a child and you are very good at school, so you get good grades, or you win everything, you think that would make them happy? No. They will constantly take and take. They're takers. They're not givers. Now, as I told you, they can be rich and famous, so yeah, if you're a child, they would give you food and, you know, everything, except for the most important thing, and that's loving you. Like loving you without thinking of themselves. So they're not very good in unconditional love. And it's so easy to trigger them. So you have to tiptoe, walk on eggshells, because they're the king and queens. You can't disturb them because they're in their heads, in their worlds. You should be happy if you get a neglectful narcissist, because then they won't bother you so much. But many of them want too much respect, and they can't handle when someone screws up, drops something. They're too sensitive when it comes to that. But they themselves can be like, if they drop something, it's nothing, you know. Don't even say sorry. Don't even say sorry. Entitled. And yeah, and especially if you're an empath, and it is hurtful to see this, that you can't do a mistake, but they can. But yeah, what can you do? That realizing that all you've done all these years were for nothing. You've been ambitious. You've done your homeworks, you know, and it was all for nothing. It's all for nothing because, okay, it's good for or, if you want a bachelor, if you want, that's okay. It will help your future. But then when you realize that's not your true self, I mean, there's nothing wrong being ambitious. There's nothing wrong with that. I applaud that. But when you realize you don't need to do that to please someone, that you should be loved for you, then that's a sad and disappointing day, but it will also release you from all the pressure. But now, if you're like an adult, then then it's probably hard for you to change yourself. Then you're ambitious. I mean, it can be a blessing in disguise if you were raised by a narcissist, because it helped you out. That's if you survived and not, go the other way because you wanted to rebel. Yeah. So number 16, they only choose one or two people they bond with, or if they have lots of friends, you will see like they have hundreds of friends on Facebook. It's really shallow. What they talk about is shallow. It's about money, it's about winning, and they hardly talk about God, or having a faith. They don't. They talk about things, about money, how to get money, or how to be very famous, or they talk about their obsessions, they talk about hobbies. There's nothing wrong with all of those things, guys. It's just that if it's like 24/7, or like 95% of their time they talk about those things, instead of talking about ideas, or maybe they talk about ideas but not really, they don't really analyze things. They don't talk about how to help others, how to have a closer relationship with God, with people, with their loved ones. How can they help others, yeah. Number 17, they are masters in pretending to be good, especially when there are people around. They love to have an audience, like I said before. They want others to think of them as good people. Now, not all of them are like this, but many of them. They have an image, like if they if their image is that they're Christians, on the outside they do look like they're Christians, but then they don't really want it to be deeper than just going to church. They might, I mean, if you don't go to church, guys, you might not understand this. Like, I don't mean that you have to like read your Bible every day to be a true Christian, or I don't mean that. It's just that it doesn't seem that important to them, although they constantly say they're Christians. Like, they would say that, but they judge people. They are very antisocial, so yeah, because they're self-centered. So when they see someone, they don't, how do you call that? How do you say that? Give them the benefit of the doubt. Benefit of a doubt? No, they don't give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm saying it wrong. Anyways, they are always judging people as if that person is bad. They're very judgmental. Every one of us can be judgmental at times, but they are doing it constantly, okay? and they feel very righteous. Oh, I do this, I'm not like that. And like I said, every one of us can be guilty of this, but we don't do it like 100% of the time. And they're very judgmental, but they show this bad behavior of them when they're with one or two people, or more people. They want to be good, but then they choose one or two that they're very close to, that they show their absolute worst sides. But with the rest, with the audience, they want to be seen good. They talk about what, like, they gave charity there, they gave charity here. When you give charity or when you volunteer, I don't mean that you can never talk about it, but don't talk about it all the time. Yeah, that's because they are keeping an image. They want that image for whatever reason, like they love their kids, or they're close to their kids. But like, if you grow up with them when you're a child, you're thinking, oh, my mom or dad loves me, and then you notice they're kinder to you when other people are around, but not when you're alone with them. And not notice that you're analyzing it, but you're aware of it, but you don't think so much about it. You're a child, but later when you're an adult, you're thinking, yeah, that's right. And if you're still with these people, then you notice it, like, oh. And yeah, like I said, if you choose not to leave them, you can't really do much. You can't change them, so change yourself. Try to not get hurt too much, because you can change them. Try to limit your contact, or set boundaries. Okay, number 18. No or almost no empathy. Can have sympathy. Like I told you, they have a bout of psychopathy, so it's harder for them to have empathy. And you might think, oh, they were born like that, they were created like that, if you're a Christian. But all of us are flawed, we are imperfect, we're broken. So in a way, that's our cross to bear, that's our challenge. So there's really no excuse. We could be born crazy, or so you can't just say, oh, I was born like this, because everyone is born with a defect. Like, you might be very pretty, very intelligent, and yeah, you can be a narcissist, or something else. You have a bad trait that's not good, and usually you would try to control that if you can't change it. It's harder for them to put themselves in other shoes, because they're naturally self-centered, so that's like an oxymoron. They can have sympathy to others who they share a common bond, or similar to them in a way they do, like if they have similar gender, age, things like that, and experiencing a similar thing, then they have sympathy. Then they would say, oh, I feel sorry for that person. And then at first you think, oh, that's good. That's good, of course that's good to have sympathy. And then you realize, oh, that's because they've experienced the same thing or a similar thing. But they are not, not all of them are psychopaths. Some of them are psychopaths. Then that's really hard to live with for others around them. But I'm not saying that, oh, if you're a narcissist you can never change. It's hard for you to change, but it's not impossible, you know. And if you're a narcissist and want to change, then that might make you unhappy because you are sacrificing yourself. But if you're Christian, you will be joyful because you know you're helping someone else. You might not be happy, happy, you know, but deep inside you will know, oh, I'm being Christ-like, I am helping others who are not like me. So I'm not saying, wow, if you're a narcissist, then what? Then you're a bad person. You're not automatically a bad person, in the same way as you're not automatically a good person if you're an empath. It's just the way you were designed. And you know, if you're a narcissist, and if you're watching this video, maybe that means you are, if you're a narcissist, that you are admitting to it and you want to change or something. Now, if you are a person close to a narcissist, it's your choice. It's your choice if you want to stay, if you want to leave. I mean, you could do a pause and see how you can deal with no contact, and see if you can live with that. If you can't, then like I said, seek counseling, set boundaries, because really, if you grew up with narcissists, you're used to it, right? But if we all reach our limit, and that's why I'm saying you have to set boundaries if you do choose not to go away. I would like to make more similar videos like this, guys. If you want to, I have lots of experiences with it, and it might help you, you know, to seeing someone who has experienced it. Okay, I hope you like this video, guys. If you did, please give it a like, and please click on your bell notification so you will know when I upload a video. And please subscribe to this channel, ScorpioAnnYT, and also go to my husband's ASMR channel, Michael Soothing ASMR, and my daughter's channel, Art and Beauty Freak. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I love you.